2:30 T-Crest, and you know he's going to ask all the right questions. It's one thing that I really love about that show is when they have a guest on, T-Crest is not afraid to ask the hard questions. So we'll see what we get out of Jason Light 2:30 this afternoon. Some stuff that was going on at camp other than the Jason Light stuff. If you are just joining us, Jason Light did say he does not plan on trading Vita Vea, despite Vita Vea's agent going off publicly and telling the media, I don't see this ending in any other way other than a trade, which is kind of interesting for an agent to come out and say, but also not surprising because agents, like the text line is reading, there's so many text messages that are like, agents are such dirtbags, agents are scums. They're doing their job. At the end of the day, if you think that Vita isn't a part of this, come on, you're kidding yourself. I know you love Vita Vea, but Vita Vea wants this too. He's absolutely part of it. The agent's job is to just be the dirty, dirty scum. He's doing his job. It's what they do. A couple text messages on this. To be honest, Vita has a bad agent, not really acting in his benefit, in my opinion, but who knows if it's at his request or not. No, it's at his request. He's sitting out of practice for a reason, and it ain't because of a tweaked back. I can assure you that. I'm not buying the back thing. By the way, if you're 31 years old and you're tweaking your back while running, then I'm going to be hesitant to give you a bigger deal. So, acting like you got a tweaked back, that's probably not helping you here.
Excuse number one, probably the agent came up with that.
Reddick also thought it was smart to sit out a year as well. Yeah, it didn't work for Reddick. So there's your text feedback on that. Other stuff that is going on at camp, because there is more to just Vita Vea and Baker Mayfield contract situations. There is some good stuff, too. And all the good stuff happens to be around the defense, which you like to hear, because if the defense could just be average, we like to think they will be a little bit better this year, because the problem is they've been below average the last couple of years. My take on Todd Bowles is it's not necessarily about winning the divisions and how many games he's won and lost. Obviously, at the end of the day, wins and losses matter, but what people really want to see out of Todd Bowles as a defensive head coach is a top of the league defense rather than a bottom defense. Because when your head coach specializes in defense, he's supposed to be at the top of the league in defensive statistics, and the Bucs are at the end of the league. They're not good the last few years. I'm at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to defense. People want a top 10 defense out of Todd Bowles. That's what they should get from a defensive-minded head coach. One of the big storylines from training camp that I'm really liking is David Walker continues to get praised and continues to be talked about and just continues to impress everybody. Now, we all remember David Walker went out last year with a season-ending injury, so we did not get to see him play football for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it seems he has recovered, and he is looking pretty good. Today, he essentially had a sack. Now, they can't actually hit the quarterback, but they ruled it as a sack, which essentially would have been a sack now in 7 straight practices. Like, that's got to get you a little bit pumped up and amped up for this defense. We're talking about a guy that we've never seen play coming into year number 2. That excites me. Like, we're hearing everything about Ruben Bain. Don't get me wrong, and I'll get into the Ruben stuff. But David Walker coming onto the scene, if he can be an impact this year, what that does to this defensive line, we might actually see growth. We might see a defensive line we have not seen here since they won a Super Bowl, maybe the year after. But it's been a while, right? It's been a long, long time. Really, the Baker Mayfield era, the defensive line hasn't been the best. The defense overall, not the best. But if this defensive line can finally be a threat, finally get home, get to the quarterback, think what that does for your secondary. Think what it does to the middle of the defense, which, by the way, I think they've already upgraded the middle of the defense. Somebody yesterday said, can Alex Anzalone fill the shoes of Levante David? Alex Anzalone doesn't have to fill the shoes of Hall of Famer Levante David. He's got to fill the shoes of 2025 Levante David. I don't think that's that hard to do. No disrespect to Levante. Had an incredible career, could possibly be a Hall of Famer. I think he'll be in the Ring of Honor one day. He is the silhouette on the wall. He is one of my favorite players of all time, and he's very underrated. But last year he wasn't good. It is what it is. Unfortunately, he wasn't his best. And Alex Anzalone, I think, is an upgrade over what we got out of Levante David last year. And if the defensive line can be as good as we're hearing, think what that does to your secondary that lost Jamel Dean and is very, very young. Benjamin Morrison, struggling. And he's hurt all the time. And so you got injuries on top of the struggles. Jacob Parrish, young guy going into year number 2, looking like he might even be an outside corner for this team. Tyke Smith, he's been exceptionally great for this team. So the secondary's young. What can help those guys grow and continue to be better, and if Zylan McCollum's going to be your number 1, having a good defensive line is going to help all those guys out, make them all look better.
You want a top 10 defense? Have an elite defensive line. If this defensive line looks how you're saying, this is going to be a top 10 defense.
Look, it's all practice, right? It's
Exactly.
a hype machine right now.
Oh, yeah. That's training camp for you.
Exactly. Kyle Trask was a Hall of Famer 3 years ago. We're well on his way to
Hall
Canton.
of Famer.
I know. It was people like you Gator people.
Like
yeah, you Gator people that were just, oh, my God, Kyle's so great.
Give the kid a chance.
He's had plenty of chances. Where's he at right now?
When?
He's had chances to make other teams. The Falcons need a quarterback. Why need their quarterback? He's had chances. Unfortunately, he just wasn't what Gator fans like you thought. He was surrounded by so much talent at the gate with the Gators.
What quarterback is it?
DJ Lagway.
So I didn't mean Gators. I meant.
Oh. Actually, DJ Lagway was surrounded by talent, too.
There's a lot of talent.
The skill positions are great. Their offensive line, not so much. But we'll talk to my buddy Zach Goodall from Swamp 24/7 coming up here in just a little bit. Fall camp for the Gators started. I also have a great audio from Summerall that I love that guy more and more that we hear about him. But the defensive line has been the talk of camp. That's got me excited. The defensive line, again, when you think about the Eagles that won the Super Bowl just a couple years ago, why did they win? They were able to rotate 8 defensive linemen in and out. Now, we hope this defensive line involves Vita Vea. That's what we really hope. That it is important that we still have Vita Vea. I do want to make sure he is part of this team, and I think the Bucs got to take care of him. If you weren't listening earlier, I suggested giving him the DeForest Buckner deal. DeForest Buckner, at the age of 30, 1 year younger than Vita Vea, had a $46 million deal. 43 of it was guaranteed. So you bump Vita Vea up $7 million this year. He's worth that. He's outperforming his contract. And then 23 next year. So he goes into this season with a little bit of security. Now, next year, you'll probably have to do this all over again because he's like, I'm not going to go into my final year without a deal, and you're going to probably play this game every single year. But at least in this pivotal season of 2026, which is going to determine the direction of this franchise for the next 5 to 7 years, at least you have some security up front with Vita Vea, knowing he's going to be part of this football team. Plus, your PR is a nightmare right now at One Buck Place. Speaking of One Buck Place, that pole that hit my car, the magic eraser got the red paint off the truck.
You don't say.
That magic eraser is so magic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the podcast version of the show. A gate hit my truck. My truck didn't hit the gate hit my truck.
That's right.
Coming after the Bucs. I've got no case. They've lost the tape. John Gruden was at camp today, by the way. Not a big preseason guy, but I am so intrigued in hearing John Gruden do play-by-play. We've all seen him do color commentary, but now he's going to do play-by-play with Rondé doing the color. That's going to be interesting. That is going to be one of those moments where I don't want to watch that game at a bar that's playing Justin Bieber. I don't know why sports bars always feel the need to play music rather than a game. Drives me crazy. But that is a game where I want the sound on. Can't be at a bar watching that with no sound. I got to hear what John Gruden sounds like doing play-by-play. That's going to be interesting. Injury updates coming out of camp today. Bull said no timetable for Tristan Wirfs. He expects him back during camp, so I don't think there's anything to worry about there. It's just your typical Tampa Bay Buccaneer issue. Every single year, no matter who it is, there's a hamstring issue. Jalen McMillan, though, is out with a knee injury, and there is no timeline for return for Jalen McMillan, which is going to create opportunities from Ted Hurst, who has looked pretty good at camp. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Zach Goodall from Swamp 247. Gators kicked off their fall camp yesterday, so we'll talk to him about what went on there. There's a quarterback battle happening in Gainesville. Tomorrow, we hope to get somebody on to talk a little bit about USF fall camp, which also started yesterday, the Brian Hartline era underway.